In 1964, the Civil Rights Act was signed into law, banning discrimination against race, religion, sex, and national origin. While that was a step in the right direction, over 50 years later, America still has racial gaps in wealth, education, and criminal punishment. And an argument can be made for those more prominent racial issues, but what about comments like these?
You're doing chemistry so well because you're Asian.
Where are you from? Because your hair is different than like other white hair.
Osama bin Laden was your uncle, right?
We're talking about microaggressions, which are usually unintended racial slights towards a person of a different race. The term microaggression was originally coined by psychiatrist Dr. Chester Pierce in the 1970s. It was later used by Columbia professor Darrell Sue to define the small interactions and understand the negative impacts they have. If you have never experienced a microaggression or considered yourself a perpetrator, then you're probably white, although everyone is capable of the act. But we're not just talking about race.
They can be based on race, but they're usually based on intersections of different social locations: race, class, gender, immigration status, phenotype.
It covers a broad scope of people, and once more, they usually occur unconsciously and automatically by the perpetrator. So they may not even realize that what they're saying can actually have an impact. And sometimes the perpetrator may think they're being innocent when they're actually being ignorant. So where do microaggressions come from?
Microaggressions, going back to the definition, are a part of a systemic racism, right? So they don't just happen, right? They aren't just kind of everyday racial slights or comments. There are processes and policies in place.
A 2015 case study on the impact of racial microaggressions explains the framework in 3 layers. The first are the microaggressions which occur verbally or non-verbally from people who are actually perpetrating, usually unconsciously, from institutional racism. Institutional racism involves the policies, such as the Jim Crow laws in the 1960s, the US Patriot Act, and stop and frisk policing, that can marginalize people of different races, immigration status, and so on. What justifies these policies are ideologies such as white supremacy, which encompasses institutional racism and the racism people perpetuate every day without even realizing it. Basically, white supremacy is like an STD, and racial microaggressions is like the burning when you urinate. It's a symptom of a bigger problem. Unfortunately, antibiotics won't cure racism, but awareness can keep it from spreading before the damage is done.
Self-defeating effects, which can be denying that they happened, self-policing, so being very careful and kind of, self-surveillancing yourself to not confirm stereotypes.
It's important that we allow ourselves to learn how white supremacy contributes to racism. But America has work to do. According to a Pew Research survey, only 27% of whites in America agree it is more difficult to be black in the US than to be white. If we're going to eradicate racism towards anybody just a little different, then we have to open ourselves up to learn how we contribute to the problem.